Welcome to LEXperts, Smarter Fleets. In this episode, I'm talking to Peter Weston, Fleet Manager at IMServ, about how to take everyone on your electrification journey and how Lex Autolease can help. I've been in this industry for years, you've been in this industry for years. We've talked about bringing on people in a structured manner, using the data, turning it into insight. We've probably got some horror stories around how not to do this. And have you got any stories like that?
I do remember in a previous fleet not taking into account the payload, basically, because you'll have guys with similar job titles carrying different pieces of kit and different pieces of equipment.
But in the same van?
In the same van, yeah. Which in a diesel doesn't really matter. But when you get to EV and the impact that the weight has on range, so we have one particular population, and it was only one small sub-team, but they were carrying about 50% more weight than all their colleagues. Yeah. So we trialled it out among a group of their colleagues with standard kit, no problem at all. Yeah. Happy as Larry, doing the day's work, and everything was fine. And then suddenly we put these guys into electric vans and productivity just plummeted because they couldn't do the jobs they were scheduled to do in the day. This is where, as a fleet manager, I rely on you guys because Lex has got the data, got the experience, got the wide range of vehicles on the road in different circumstances. And the advice we get from you people who say, yeah, this van will work here doing that, but it won't work there.
Yeah.
It saves expensive and, from a fleet manager perspective, embarrassing mistakes being made.
And let's deal with the financial person who all they're bothered about is the numbers. So let's get to the CFO. So how does that become a job in terms of convincing them? How do you turn that transition to electrification into financially, guys, this makes sense as well?
I have found in the past there is a little bit of CFO education required. The way to approach it really is looking at total cost of ownership.
It's basically stop focusing on just the lump of metal. You need to think of everything else that we do with it as a business.
Yeah. And realistically, particularly with the cost of EVs coming down so much recently, they're no longer the massive headline figure that was the case even 5 years ago. And so although you may be paying more in pure monthly lease cost, your cost per mile just falls away, even on-street charging, compared to the cost of diesel nowadays, particularly with the volatility in the oil market at the moment. And from a company perspective as well, you really need to look at the whole life cost element of it rather than the pure lease figure, because your maintenance cost is so low. So even the capital cost may be higher, the lower maintenance costs are going to bring your monthly payment down. Then you've got things like the reduced employer's NIC that you have to pay because of the lower benefit in kind taxation.
And we're seeing as well the number of new entrants. I recall an article recently where I think there used to be 40 to 50 manufacturers in the UK, and there are now up to around 70. Yeah. But what you're finding is the standard specification on a car, and indeed a van, you don't have to add anything to it. It comes with everything on it as normal.
Yeah, it used to be in the old days that you have to get the base vehicle and then spend thousands of quids, all of which goes onto the VIK bill as well. But no, the quality of kit, the quality of what used to be extras that are now standard on a vehicle, and there's such incredible competition there as well that every manufacturer, what used to be unusual is now the base level, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the tax incentives are great, but the driving experience is so good. That I find that no one who's been into BEV will go back.
No, we've found that with some of the studies and surveys that we've done, and I think it was something like 94% of people who said have driven a BEV would stay in a BEV. They wouldn't go back to anything else. I hope you found this episode interesting. You can find more episodes on the LEXperts Media Hub.